Their objective is to inspire you and I to learn more about the animals that we are surrounded by at the Calgary Zoo. And we happen to have the population ecologist with the Calgary Zoo. Her name is Lea Randall. Lea, it was on Friday we had skunks. You don't have skunks at the zoo.
Nope, I haven't seen any skunks. We do have like a large Canadian wild section, but no skunks.
No skunks, at least none that you know of.
Nope.
But you do have a curiosity about frogs.
I do.
And that's where you come in, because how does it all work? Did they say, hey, Lea, guess what? We're sending you on some field research on frogs. Is that how it happens?
So I've been working on this project for 3.5 years now, and
wow.
it's really involved. We do a lot of field work as well as, and then I spend a lot of time analyzing data and writing papers and things like that after. But this year I spent over 3 months in the field looking at leopard frogs in southern Alberta. We have 68 sites that we monitor 4 times in the spring and then 4 times again in the summer. And that spans about 60,000 square kilometers of southern Alberta. So it's a huge amount of survey effort. And then in between that, I also do field work in British Columbia, where northern leopard frogs are endangered. So I just got back on Wednesday night from a bunch of field work in BC. So I've barely been home.
Is it because we want to learn more about these species, or is it because we want to just reinforce what we know?
So leopard frogs are a species of conservation concern in Canada, and their populations have been in decline. And really we want to understand better what factors are causing that, if it's still happening. I'm studying the population dynamics to find out if maybe they're starting to recover, or if they're still declining, or maybe it's just stabilized. In addition, we're also involved in recovery efforts in British Columbia, because it got so bad in BC that there was only a single population of northern leopard frogs that was found in the Creston Valley.
Was it because of forest fires?
We don't know. So definitely changing land use patterns probably played a role.
Look at that little guy.
Oh, he's so cute.
Only you would say that, Lea.
I've kissed a lot of frogs in my time. So changing land use patterns, probably disease, changing water patterns for sure has played a role, and pesticides in the water. We don't know exactly why the populations declined to the degree they did in BC and Alberta, but so far we're not really seeing the evidence of recovery that we would like to see.
Is it true that the zoo is also considering capture breeding?
So we've been asked by the BC Northern Leopard Frog Recovery Team to host a captive breeding facility for northern leopard frogs. So right now we're just kind of looking into the feasibility of that.
Right. Your site here is actually quite intriguing too. I don't know how often you actually change the images, because, well, the zoo has so many. Who are these little critters on the front of the screen? Are these just like little lizards? Those certainly aren't frogs.
No, those are our Komodo Dragons.
Oh,
so
sweet.
Yeah, if you haven't seen them yet, you really need to go to the zoo. We've got 1 big adult female, and then we've got 4 young babies, the babies are huge. Like, they're about the size of a full-grown iguana, and they're really active. You've got to go see them. They're fantastic.
So even though for the last 3.5 years of research with these frogs, but you also do other things at the zoo as well.
I do. Like, primarily my job is with the Center for Conservation Research, so I do conservation work, but I'm certainly involved in other aspects. I try to do media things like this.
Sure.
I help out with education, that kind of thing.
When we see a frog, or we hear a frog in our city, which is getting more and more rarer because we just keep growing and growing and growing, advice: do we stay away from the frogs? My kids just want to go over there and just grab the frog and just start playing with them and take them home. But what advice would you give to a parent whose child is curious about a frog that they've just caught?
Well, I think it's really important to inspire that curiosity in your children, because you don't protect things unless you value them. So I think that there's a real value in taking your children out to see nature and wildlife. My advice would be, don't capture them, just try and watch them in the wild. And particularly frogs breathe through their skin, so if you have any creams or insect sprays or anything on your hands, if you're touching them or if that goes in the water,
it can be more harm than good then.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, now you don't have too many frogs at the zoo right now though, do you?
No, we only have 1 leopard frog.
Oh,
yeah,
poor little guy,
but
just because of age?
Yeah, hopefully we'll have more again at some point on display. So this one's not on display, it's in the education building.
So when you finish your research, it's been 3.5 years, years that you've been working on this. What is the one thing, or when are you hoping to get it done?
So I think we're at the point where our project's probably going to be changing. So initially our goal was to look at what the population dynamics were. We've found that the population seem to have stabilized, but they're not recovering. So our research shows that the problem seems to be in that overwintering period. We get lots of baby frogs, you know, and then
boom, they disappear.
and then over winter they die off. So we want to get a better understanding of what's happening during that critical overwintering period. So that's where I think we're probably going to go with the project in the future.
Well, that's one of the things that we're discovering about the Calgary Zoo. It's not just about the animals that are at the zoo, but there's also amazing research being done by people like you. Leah, thank you very much for doing this.
Well, thank you for having me.
There is a lot of stuff going on in our city as well, too. It is including the Foothills Brass Quintet, presenting a one-night-only concert inspired by dance. It is this Saturday at Scarborough United Church. If you'd like more information, well, the good news is we have a website for you. It's www.foothillsbrass.ca. That's foothillsbrass.ca. You're watching Trending on Shaw.